If you have a question about Solana or you're building something and you just get stuck, what you do? That's right, you go to the Solana Stack Exchange. Hello and welcome to another Solana tutorial. Today we're gonna answer some questions on the Stack Exchange and hopefully learn something on the way. Because in a previous video I might have indirectly suggested that you should go to my Discord server to get your questions answered, which you should not. You should go to the Solana Stack Exchange. You should only come to my server if you want to discuss something about my videos, if you found a bug, if something hasn't been clear that you need an explanation for, if you think I made a mistake in the video or there's something that needs a bit more clarification, then you're happy to join my Discord server and we can discuss that. But I'm not gonna do general question answering anymore. I used to do that. I could afford to do that in the bear market. Can't afford to do that anymore. Also, please don't send me DMs about that stuff. The only way to reach me now is Sollinked. If you write me a message there, I will actually answer. But for most of you, you just want to go to the Solana Stack Exchange. And we're all gonna attempt to answer some questions there. So, let's go there. Welcome to the Solana Stack Exchange. We are still in beta, same as mainnet, and we got a bunch of questions, a bunch of answers. Oh nice, more answers than questions. Just an 82% answer rate, which, you know, is not too bad. This has been better, but now we get a lot of the same questions over and over again, I assume. Stuff like creating tokens, putting metadata on tokens, liquidity pools. Yeah, there we have it. Liquidity pools. Of course, liquidity pools. That's just what people do right now. And I'm not judging. I am judging. But yeah. Today I just want to try and answer some questions to learn something myself, teach you something on the way. But really the main message I already said, if you have an issue, come to the Solana Stack Exchange. And before you post your question, search for whatever it is that you're looking for. Create token. Pretty sure somebody had a question about that before. Creating a token on Solana blockchain. Create a token account using Solana Keygen. Now, admittedly, some answers are of course biased, and since everybody can answer, they could be incorrect. Not saying that this is all perfect, but with every kind of community tool, you'll get those properties. Anything else doesn't really scale. I mean, go to the official docs, read source code, find it out yourself. But that's not so easy, especially for beginners. So we don't know if that's a scam. I don't want to click it. Don't click links that you don't know where they go. I'm trying to create a token with a vanity address. I've tried the following. After this, it shows no such file or directory. Because you're using create account and not create token. That's your issue. Which command should I run to create a token with a mint and vanity key pair? So unfortunately, nobody managed to properly answer this. It's used to create a token account. Yes. You can do the following steps to achieving what you're trying to do. Create token. There you go. But they're not saying which vanity address they should use. This answer could be improved. So, well, let's start here. Let's answer this properly. A year late. Lol. For that we need an account. But yeah, what I was saying is first search for the issue that you have and only then ask a question yourself. I want to log in. I know that I have an account here. Solendi did a video. Jonas is mentioning me. John is mentioning me. Oh, I like this. But I wanted to search for users. Yeah, that's me. I have a pretty low score and I haven't logged in like ever. Do I see that when I was last active? Last seen more than a month ago. Well, more than a year ago, more likely. This profile pic I used, you know, before I got my monkey. So this was when I had the DAA as my go-to profile back in the days. But I'm user 914, so like below 1,000. Let's see if I can still access this profile. Isn't the password manager something nice? Thanks, Solendi. The information you provide is definitely extending my knowledge. Well, that's how it should be if I answer a question. I hope it's the same today. So let's raise our points a bit. So where were we? At the question that was asked a year ago. But see, the point is, if that's one thing that I find in combination with minting token and Solana Keygen, I found this and it's not properly answered, so I better answer it. Because this thing is super simple. Let's do as he did with Solana Keygen. Starts with And I just do 2 letters. There we go. If I want this to be my token, now I can do SBL token, create token with the TE. And then it's creating that token at that address. That's what you want. Essentially, you just want that. My answer. Easy as that. But how do I get this? I need to learn my Stack Exchange formatting if I want to answer some questions here. Alright, easy as that. Post your answer. Cool, we answered the question on Stack Exchange. This is nice, let's continue doing this. Because I want to incentivize people to go to the Stack Exchange, not my freaking Discord server, damn it. Transaction simulation failed. Error processing instruction. Program failed to complete. Well, that says exactly nothing except that the first instruction fails. So maybe put something more accurate there. Oh yeah, maybe I should give some tips for how to ask proper questions here. You know, stuff like include the error message, include the code that caused that error, and describe what you're doing and also what you are trying to achieve. That's an important thing as well. So let's see if they did that here in text. I'm trying to get an example lottery project to run. Well, nothing sketchy with that yet, because who doesn't like their example lottery projects? Anchor build, run well. However, on this, Solana Bootcamp, well, it's a Solana Bootcamp, so seems legit. No idea who Extra.io is though. I'm having test errors when trying to create wallets and obviously face arrest because of that. Yeah, that's a good question. I think I saw that they're linked to the same thing, so I don't think that that's the problem. This one refers to this one, actually. Apart from that, I don't see the reason why it won't run a test properly. I mean, you describe what you're using. That's great. Error I got first was different, but pushed with... Okay, so this is horrible because we have no idea why the transaction is failing. We just see that the transaction is failing and we get a link to, well, the entire example project. So I could now try out this example project myself and then probably get it to work, and getting the exact same error will be probably unlikely unless it's a error in here. But please, if you ask questions, put the entire logs. Oh, it's because Anchor is so annoying and doesn't give us the logs. That's why. Anchor is sometimes really annoying when it comes to that. It doesn't give us the logs why it fails, just the message, which was that. And that message is just useless. All right, so trying to be a bit helpful. That's all I can say though. Yeah, so please people give a bit more. Oh, this is formatted horribly. Where am I? Okay, whatever. Anyway, TLDR, include the error, the entire error, not just transaction simulation failed, program failed to complete, because that doesn't tell me anything. Add stack trace and or program log or the signature of the failed transaction. I'm happy with that as well. And then maybe also some code. Yeah, because that would help me in answering this. Because with that question, I'm just not gonna answer it because that's too much work. What am I, a freaking psychic who knows what's the problem without... No. You provide me with more details and then we talk. For now, we go back to answering another question. Hot. How about this? What's hot? Determining transaction fee inside Rust program. That's a great question. Liquidity pool, I'm not gonna even click at that. Best way to listen to program emitted events. That's a topic for a different video though. This whole WebSocket, this could be interesting. But it's already answered, so you don't need to answer that one. Oh, what's the difference between a slot and a block? That's a great question. Is there a concise explanation you can provide? So my explanation would be a slot is the time that a validator has to create blocks. And I think right now it's 4 blocks that they can create within one slot. And I'm not 100% on this actually. So a slot is a fixed amount of time set to 400 milliseconds within which a validator has the opportunity to produce a block. Produce a block though. Here's the article. So we're providing some references. That's good when answering questions. Great. Validator has the opportunity to produce a block. So it also says it here, a block. Okay. So what do we do if we're not sure and we want to have information about Solana? Well, obviously, we go to the Solana Stack Exchange. So let's ask a question ourselves. You're ready to ask your first question. Make sure your question hasn't been answered. Good point, I have not done that. Let's see. Slot block. Why is the amount of slots doesn't match the amount of blocks on mainnet? Oh, maybe that goes in my direction. Oh, and then there are freaking 5 more pages. A leader produces at most 1 block per slot. What was it with 4 then? G2 said something with 4. And looking at those numbers, it seems like there's 1 block per slot at most, which makes sense. I always thought it was that way, but somehow the G2 guys confused me a bit. Yeah, so it all sounds like 1 block in a slot at most. Yeah, so it's definitely 1 slot, if we can trust any of the Stack Exchange answers. Okay, good enough. Okay, what else is hot? MetaBlack's account update metadata, of course. Sandwich attacks on Solana. Is this a problem? I've noticed and collected quite a large number of sandwich attacks. There's G2, which basically allows that. But I'm not sure if this could be used for sandwich attacks. Yes, Jonas, it can be used for sandwich attacks. Of course it can be used for sandwich attacks. You can front run, back run, sandwich, anything you want. With 5 transactions max. How can the system program credit accounts if the ownership changes? So that sounds interesting. Phishing scam, fake airdrop. What is the way to send transactions extremely quickly? My wallet address was drained. Congratulations. Checking ruggability of a token. Ruggability closed. Okay, let's go through a few of those. If a program is marked as the owner of an account, then that program can modify that data in that account. That's true. The data of that account, but yeah, that's true. By default, all new accounts are assigned to the system programs. Yes, that's also true. But suppose I assign the ownership of an account I have control of to be a different program from the system program. Does that not mean that the system program no longer has the authority to credit, debit Lamperts from my account? Only credit, not debit. Or is it only debit, not credit? Which way around is it? You can put Lamperts there, but you cannot remove Lamperts from there. So I can credit Lamperts, but I cannot debit Lamperts. Or is the system program a special case where I can write and change data of an account without being the assigned owner? Nope, that's not a special case. And as Jonas says here, when a PDA is not owned by the system program, you cannot use the system program transfer CPI anymore. Yeah, because the system program cannot debit anymore. That system program can only credit, and any other program as well. But you, well, that is your program, that is the owner of the account, can change the data of the account like this and this. For this one, the chest vault account needs to be assigned to my program doing this. This one can be a system program account or any other account that I credit Lamperts on. Anybody can credit, only I can debit. So given arbitrary account inputs and not use the system program transfer. Rules are, you can only change the Lamperts when the program is the owner of the accounts. If it's a system program, you need to CPI. Second rule, all Lamperts of all accounts need to sum up to the Lamperts before the transaction. Yeah, that also makes sense. You can't make them up. So yes, everything that has been said here is true, but maybe it's a bit incomplete. Really, to answer the confusion of the poor Dillian, what he needs to know is the difference between credit and debit. So let's answer this question. And let's make this bold. Let's write it out. Lamperts to an account, but only the owning program can debit Lamperts from an account. I hope that makes more sense now. Smiley face, post answer. Easy. See, those are the topics that I kind of like. You know, the programming model, which is actually quite nice, and I have a good understanding of it. So yeah, I like to answer those questions. But you know what I don't like? That picture. My mad lad? Nah, my monkey. Didn't pay 333 Sol for that for nothing. Contact me on Sol linked. Don't write me messages. Do you know what could be causing that? No, I don't, and I don't care. I'm not gonna read that even. Quit Telegram. Cool, much better. You've earned a new privilege. You can now vote down. Great. Okay, anyway, moving on. Signature doesn't give you a guarantee that the transaction is successfully executed. Yeah, that's true. That's one of those basic things that for me is so clear, but like for beginner might not be clear at all. because the signature you get from, guess that, signing. So if you sign the transaction, you have the signature, but that doesn't mean that it's actually persisted on the cluster, because for that you need to submit it to the cluster, and then it needs to be accepted by the cluster and put into a block. So yeah, just because we take the signature as the thing that identifies the transaction, we made it easy for ourselves that we don't have a separate thing, but that also means that just having the signature doesn't guarantee that it's actually persisted yet. Yeah, so that has been answered. Token balance is not showing. That's not answered. My token balances are no longer displayed. Next to the tokens, there are just some dots where the token balances used to appear. What are we talking about? Like in the Phantom wallet or where? Maybe they are precision responding. Maybe you entered private mode or whatever. This is nah. How is a block defined in Solana terminology? Oh, we've been there. Okay, I got +10. Yay! Is rent collected on Solana? No. Rent per se isn't a thing anymore. How to buy newly launched tokens on Raydium? Of course you want to do that. A transfer sold to token SBL address. How to recover it? You can't. And the annoying thing is that happens a lot still. Like a lot. I got several messages from people saying I did that accidentally. And I'm like, well, can't do anything about that. Token program is immutable and it doesn't allow closing mints. So that money is lost forever. Take the loss and move on. Fastest method to receive pool keys. Of course you want to know that. How to find newly deployed tokens on Solana. Of course you want to know that. How can I listen to burned or token lock events on Solskjaer? Of course. Swap on Jupiter in Python. Well, that's actually still okay. Jupiter swap in Python, although could also be just people wanting to get shitcoins quickly. How can I receive Sol from an account into a program? How can I check if Solana contract ownership was renounced? Decoding transactions. Now that sounds funny. As in, like something interesting for once. Token 2022. Transfer fee. Okay, we've got a bunch again. Cross-program invocation failed with unauthorized signer or writable account. At least this is somewhat helpful. And it's probably because you're either not a signer or you're not mutable. And the answer says it's not marked as mutable. So mark it as mutable. Well, it's not officially accepted, but 4 upwards votes, so good enough for me. I want to buy a new Solana coin, but not sure. Not even gonna read that. If you say Solana coin, not even gonna read that. It's a token. Coin is the native thing, so coin would be Sol. That's the only coin on Solana, and nobody refers to it like that. And if you want to buy a new coin on Solana, don't. So, decoding transactions, is that fun? Ah, no. Because it's just about instruction swaps for tokens such as Raydium. Doesn't seem like Raydium exposes their program IDL. Well, gotta just be smart then, says Steven Lucier. We're only like 1 hour 20 into making this video and I feel like I've been sitting here for like 5 hours. Anyway, a token 2022 fees swap. I've been interested in the Solana ecosystem recently. 26 days ago, of course. See, I'm a bit bitter with all the people coming to Solana right now, which some of them are legit and really want to learn, and it's cool to have more devs here, but so many are just here to make quick money, and that's not what I want to support. So that's why I'm like annoyed by some questions. Is there a way to modify the function in order to swap so that the withdrawal wallet doesn't receive native token but Sol or wrapped Sol? Yes. Transfer hooks. Yeah, there you go. Transfer hook. Oh yeah, I want to do another video on transfer hooks because that has been so much fun. Okay, how can I find like interesting not answered questions? Some of the people like Jonas and Steven, they're just so active here that most of the good questions get answered. So can I like search by unanswered questions? Yeah, unanswered. Oh, bountied. Oh, nothing bountied. That's the time it was asked, and active is when recent activity. Okay, bounties, there's nothing. Unanswered. 5 votes, 0 answers. That's good. Smart contract method has been hacked. Would like to know how I could replicate this, fix and learn from it. See, but there are answers for those. When does a transaction expire? That's also a good question. Okay, let's go through them. What do the answers say? If that's the case, that means your admin pub key is compromised. Did you store it in Slope 2 years ago or something? This is interesting. The docs contradict themselves on a number of places, with one of the following most accurately described when a transaction. Oh, this is like a who's gonna be a millionaire? When does a transaction expire? After 150 blocks? After 300 blocks have been appended? Oh, this is nice. I like it. Is it 150? Is it 300? After 151 slots? None of the above. Docs imply the answer is A. This seems to imply that blocks rather than slots determine the transaction expiry. That's actually a great question, but I think it's slots. These imply that the answer is B. This doc implies that the answer is C. Oh, I love this. I love this question. Can I upvote this? Asked 19 days ago, and there are no answers. Now that's the kind of question I like. Moving on to the next one. How can I reset the account discriminator so the account can be initialized again? By not closing it, but removing all lamperts from it, would be my quick answer. Well, you said that sol balance was reduced to 0. Well, if you reduce it to 0, the account cannot exist anymore. Once it's closed, yes, you must not close it. Seems to have no balance when I search for the accounts. Doesn't appear anymore, so assume it was correctly reset. But nonetheless, custom program error account already exists. Oh, that's also very interesting. Sol balance is indeed 0. Okay, so I'm gonna bookmark this as an interesting question for later. And also this one. Those are two questions that I would really like to get answered. I found interesting questions on Stack Exchange. Yes! That's step 1. Step 2 is actually answering them, but maybe we find a third one, just to make it 3. And just because I'm lazy and I don't want to answer them yet. What has the highest score? Oh, okay. Well, but they are all answered. What is a PDA? How to generate random numbers on chain? How many TPS can Solana handle? Ooh, what is the difference between transfer and transfer checked? Oh, that's a good one, because I'm also not sure. My guess is that checked checks the decimals and the owner of the token account. No, how does it do that? Wow, that's a long answer. Callum nailed it. Requires you to pass the mint account and the number of decimals. And if you pass the wrong mint accounts or decimals, then it will error. Yeah, so we're checking the mint and the decimals. That's why it's checked. Such that you don't accidentally send something with, different decimals. And the mint cannot be spoofed. Yeah, okay, cool. Learn something. Nice. We just also add the mint account and decimals, such that those are checked. And not just mint accounts are compared between the token accounts, that it's the same mint. And decimals are essentially ignored because it's in the amount. Now it's amount and decimals. All right, do you think we can answer one of those questions now? Which other high voted questions are there? Can I store more than 10 kilobytes in a Solana account? Yes, up to 10 megabytes. Process confirmed, finalized. That's also always a good question. Received the block on the majority fork, block contains target transaction. So it's put in the block, processed. Then 66% of stake weight voted on that block, it gets confirmed. 31 plus confirmed blocks built atop of this block, finalized. Woohoo, plus 30. Why do you write that though? If you want to reinitialize it, just don't write data. But yeah, this is still the most interesting question. Because which one is true? I want to become a millionaire. So after 150 blocks, the block hash expires. And block hashes, that's also why this thing has 150 entries, right? 150, okay. Slot hashes has more entries. Fun fact. Before the latest confirmed block height, this is true even if valid block height reports the block hash is still valid. You might have a bit of a time delay there. If you do that, check yourself, depending on how you implement that. So that's why this discrepancy could happen. So the docs, and where do you see that that's the case here? And this doc implies that the answer is C. What does this doc say? If the validator can't find the slot number for block hash, or if the looked up slot number is more than 151 slots lower than the slot number of the block being processed. It should be more than or equal to 151 or more than 150. So I think that's just a classic off by one error. And they are talking about slots though. That's true. That's actually really confusing. And all of that is official Solana docs. I love that question because it points out that we have actual contradictions in our docs. But yeah, here he does it again, 151. Yeah, and that's just a not of this. So we do a not, we flip this, less than or equal, bring this on the other side with minus, and then we do +1 to not have them equals here. So this is just logical not this. Is it correct though? Because I don't think that it should be 51 here. And I also don't think it's slots. I do think it's block hashes because that's why we have the recent block hashes sysvar that has a convenient exactly 150 blocks. So if a slot is missed, then we have longer time for the next one for the transaction to expire, and that's fine. Is it? I guess so. I mean, it would make more sense with slots than with block hashes because then we have the constant time, or like almost pseudo constant. I don't think it's none of the above. That would be, I can rule that out. And now I would like to do a 50-50. Do I have a 50-50 joker now? And I hope D stays in one of the others. Then I win. But I don't have a 50-50. I already used that on something else. It's not 300 blocks. That also seems somewhat arbitrary. Pretty sure it's 150. I don't think it's 151 either. I think that doc, whoever wrote this, just made a mistake and is off by 1. I mean, can't we just read source code? Block hash q is hash valid. Self ages get is sum. If that hash is in ages and ages is the hash map of hashes and ages, because that's what we find in recent block hashes, and the age is maybe the recency, I don't know. Oh, that includes the fee calculator, but even ignoring the age, we just want the hash from that hash map. So my answer reading this source code is if the recent block hash is within those 150 block hashes, then it's a valid block hash. Otherwise, it's not. And if it's not a valid block hash, then the transaction has expired, unless it is a nonce transaction. But that's a different topic that we don't discuss here. That is not part of this question. And I should totally write an answer here, but I'm not confident enough. I might write an answer here. Let me preface this with, I'm also not 100% sure on this. The answer is A. I'll make that bold. And I'm just going to post that answer. I'm going to be bold and post that answer. I said I could be wrong. That's my get out of jail free card, right? All right, let's come back here. So yeah, I mean, there are some really interesting questions in the Solana Stack Exchange. You can definitely learn something there. There is also a lot of spam, must admit. Not gonna beauty talk this. There is just a lot of noise. But the main message of this video was anyway just to tell you, go to the Solana Stack Exchange to get your questions answered. That's your best chance. Like, that's your best shot. That's the word. Your best shot in getting help with your Solana dev problems and general questions. Because there are more people there, not just me. I think I'm gonna get back into the habit of trying to answer some questions there. So if you find interesting questions that are not answered properly or not answered at all, let me know. Links to the Stack Exchange you can totally post in my Discord. I'm happy to see that. And if it's something I can answer, I will try to answer it. If it's something interesting to answer as well. Because the Stack Exchange is just better. Because it's publicly available and anybody can search in here. And it's indexed by Google. So I want to push that and not my private Discord server. And definitely not my DMs. But yeah, I hope that your journey is going well and that you don't need the Stack Exchange to make progress. But it is a cool tool. Like, it is nice that we have that. It was such a hassle to get it, our own like space in the Stack Exchange. We have a Solana.Stack Exchange. So use it. Try it out. Just ask your questions there. Or if you can, answer questions. That's even better. And if you do none of those things, go there anyway and upvote the questions that you like. If there's a good question, upvote it, such that it's easier for us to find the questions that more people care about. Is that really a metric that we should go by? Yeah, we need to be able to distinguish from the noise. And there are some really good questions in there. And if you went to the Stack Exchange and found an answer to your problem, upvote that answer and maybe even the question as well. That will help, I guess. So, yeah, that was just me introducing the Stack Exchange, just in case you weren't aware of it, because you totally want to use it. I want to use it more. I keep asking my questions on X instead of on Stack Exchange. But not everybody has that exposure to Solana devs on their X profile. So yeah, I'm well connected. Good. I think I can leave it like that. And I see you next time when we answer questions from the Stack Exchange. I'm just gonna answer questions in my videos such that I get video content as well, because that's freaking genius. You know what else is genius? Watching other videos here, subscribing and liking this video while we're at liking stuff. Yeah. Got the obligatory promotional stuff as well. See you soon. Bye.